We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
And we're back, and we are surely black. This is LA Talk Live radio show here with Jerry Bell's Soul R&B Classics, y'all. Been away for a minute, but back on the scene. The sounds that you are hearing in the background is that of my main man, Larry the Graham, y'all. Graham Central Station. Those are my peoples out of Oakland, California. Yeah, what's up, Grasshopper? We here with the Grasshopper.
Back in the house, it's the Grandmaster and the Grasshopper once again in a pitched battle of soul, R&B, and funk. And well stated, Grandmaster in the background, the sounds of the great Larry Graham and Graham Central Station. Man, this was my jam back in 1970
and the name of the song is called Jam.
The Jam. Everybody was using that reference back in the day. I remember when I was a youngster, I'd hear, my OGs talk about, man, that's my jam. Mm-hmm. And in Philly, of course, we'd be like, that's my join. Right. That's my join. So, yeah, this is one of my joins here from Larry Graham, Graham Central Station, The Jam. And welcome back to another episode, an all-new episode, a missed episode. I mean, we've been missing you here, brother, at the studio here at LA Talk Live. An all-new episode of Jerry Bell's Soul R&B Classics. I fixed your title so we can say it like that. Soul R&B Classics. Word.
Thank you, brother.
How you been, man?
Hey, man, I've been dealing with it, you know what I mean?
Ups and downs, the vicissitudes of life, as we all have.
Dude, I'm telling you, living in America, boy, this is a bitch.
I'll play that one for you later.
It's crazy, man. Just going through some change. I'm pretty happy, man. I reunited with my twin boys.
Your twins. Yeah. They were here the other night, but we missed you.
Yeah, man. And so they're happy. They ballers. They play that basketball real well. And so I'm trying to get them placed right now on a summer team.
Word. That shouldn't be hard. Big and tall, too, ain't they?
Yeah, they're taller than me.
Yeah, big and tall, both of them.
So I'm trying to get them placed on the summer team. they said they wanted to come on the radio and talk about their basketball. And
I was hoping you were going to bring them today.
today they had school. You know, they're doing homeschooling. So,
Man, that's all the more reason that brought them. You can take a minute out from home and come on over here to LA Talk Live.
You know, when people say homeschooling, they think it's where you
that
go
it's
at
easier,
home.
yeah.
No, they think you're at home doing it, but it's
Oh.
actually a place that you have to go to, and you spend 2 hours there. You go twice a week, and you spend 2 hours out of twice a week at doing this homeschooling.
Why in the devil they call it homeschooling if you ain't home?
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
One thing about Los Angeles, they have a very diverse educational system.
Oh.
I don't know that it speaks to the best of educational
Right.
systems, but they got all kinds of stuff going on. You know, kids be off track, on track,
Right.
that whole thing. I never even understood the reference to that, because to tell a kid, hey, you're off track,
Right.
to take a break, that don't sound right to me.
Right.
We used to have summer vacations.
Right.
But there's so many people out here, so many kids, you know, they've got to break up the classrooms because of public education overcrowding.
Well,
I thought homeschooling was all at home, though. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, not only that, you know, they are miseducating the people.
Well,
anyway.
that's a whole nother story.
You know what I mean? You know how that go.
Yeah.
And most of the kids are bored. Like my sons tell me all the time, Dad, I'm so bored. I don't want to sit in the classroom. And I remember when I was growing up, I was the same way. I didn't want to sit in the classroom, man, all day long, reading and writing something that you really aren't going to use in the future, you know.
The thing about education, of course, this is Jerry Bell's Soul R&B Classics. You know, we're more than just talkers. It's all about the music on this show. But if we could wax political and philosophically for a moment, I'm with you. I always felt that it was miseducation.
Right.
I looked at my aunts, uncles, and even my cousins, my first cousins, who were raised in the South, and I've mentioned this before in the air, who could go out and chase down a chicken, wring its neck, pluck it,
that's right.
and bring it back into the house. And this was when they were, you know, preteens and early teens, who rode horses,
Right.
who tended fields. And I ain't talking about cotton and tobacco. I'm talking about like food.
Yeah.
You know, raise your own tomatoes and cucumbers and watermelons. I don't know how to do none of that. And I went
used to
through
do
an
that.
entire 12 months of school and post school as well in college. But I don't get it. It seems like the more we educate kids, the less they know about survival.
Right.
So I don't blame your sons. They're survivalists. They want to know about how to grow up, get money,
Yeah.
buy some nice things, and live a comfortable life. And all that
All the other
the
stuff.
3 R's is kind of played out
Yeah,
for a lot of these
man.
young people. They need new educational systems out here, no doubt.
Yeah. You know what's interesting too is I want to address this Donald Sterling.
Oh boy,
You
bring
know-
the music down for that one.
You know, it's funny, man, because I was listening to everything that's been going on with this, and our people are way behind in a misconception of what the powers that be, as well as other not ethnicities, but other people think of us, you know, and some other ethnicities as well. You know, one is, why would you name your team the Clippers when the Clippers ship was a ship that was built in Boston in the 1800s,
Speak on
that
it.
was sent to Europe to bring slaves into the United States?
Hadn't considered that, Grandmaster.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So this person who is an owner and knew that the Jews were involved in part of the slave trade, were bringing slaves in and selling them, dispersing them throughout the Americas, to work the fields and to do whatever it was that they were doing with us during that time of slavery. And then they turn right back around and do the same thing. You know, it was funny. I was looking at YouTube, and someone had put on YouTube a picture of all the Clippers in the slave fields. And because they refused to speak up for what is proper, one, two, they went on and played anyway after this situation came out. And I try to tell people, I say, you know, every one of them that owns a team feel the same way. They just keep it quiet.
You know, Grandmaster, one of the things that occurred to me when I was listening to all this nonsense is, well, two things. One, and I've said this a long time. One is slaves are very expensive now.
Yep.
And by that I mean that
Yep.
many of our brothers who are participants in professional sports, I sometimes perceive as highly paid slave work.
Yeah.
They make billions for the owners and the NFL.
Yeah.
They make millions for themselves.
Right.
Thus, slaves are more expensive. Secondly, and I said this on my own show, I do a show every Friday night at 6 p.m. called Speak On It with Radio Raheem and attorney Stephen Burt. And one of the things I said going to the break on that show is I was really surprised at how repulsed white America was by his comments. When, quite frankly, I think all white America perceives me that way. I was surprised to hear white America so repulsed, and big ups to those who spoke out openly about this dumb comment this ignorant person made. But I said, why are you so surprised? Why are any of us so surprised, except to think that someone said it out loud, even though they were in private, out loud, as opposed to keeping it to themselves? In other words, that means that there's so many Americans who think that way, who make white Americans in this case, who keep it to themselves. Maybe they say it at home and it doesn't get out, it doesn't get recorded, it doesn't get put out on the internet.
Right.
But again, I think as a whole, we have a severe problem in this country with racism. Big ups to Starlet Quarles, the dialogue with Starlet Quarles on last night at 5 p.m. Incredible guest talking about the big problem, the bigger problem, the overarching issues we have with racism in this country. And that we try to play this thing that it's gone and, people aren't saying that about us anymore. But the fact is, I think they all think that about me as a black person.
And they do.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's not just white America. White America has influenced other people from other parts of the world that come to this country. The Koreans feel that way. Let me tell you something, man. I spend a lot of time, I speak different languages. So I spend a lot of time in different countries, and I spend a lot of time in the areas where these people are here, where I've dealt with them in business in different countries. And you go to Koreatown. In Koreatown, they have signs up that are all in Korean just to keep you out. And they're in America. You're in America.
Whoa, speak on it.
You know what I mean? You're in this country, but they'll put the signs up just to keep you out. Then what they do is when you go into their establishment, the first thing they'll do is look at you real funny. Then they'll say, before you sit down, before anything, can I help you? Well, I just got here. How the hell are you going to help me? Let me see what your menu says. Let me see what I want to look at or what I want to buy, if anything. But this is how they approach us. Now, when white people walk into their establishment, they have a whole different persona.
May I help you?
They have a whole different attitude, right? And they're more cordial to them. I was married to a Korean woman, and her family, we have a little boy together. Her family hates me with a passion and they just don't like black people. You know what I mean? And they were appalled to the fact that she even ended up marrying me, because they can't see you with anybody but themselves. This is their attitude, or either a white man, and this is the attitude that they take when they come to this country. Most of their women will team up with a Caucasian man before they will with a brother.
Regretfully so, because I'm sure after they get with them, they do regret it. Anyway.
Some of them don't. Yeah.
No, I'm only kidding.
But they come and they do it because they want the citizenship, or they think the propaganda is that the white man is more successful and you'll be better off with him if you come to this country. And they come over here looking for the American dream, and they find that they see themselves in the American nightmare, because a lot of them do not succeed in what they want. So the suicide rate for them is very high as well.
And not just that, aside from the suicide rate, they will inevitably face some of the same racism and discrimination that we have faced for centuries.
I tell them, go to the South. You think you know?
Oh,
See,
you like America?
look,
Go on down south then and
the-
see how they treat
the
you, right?
Koreans or the Asians in California are Californianized Asians. They are very white orientated. But when they go to New York, when they go to Philadelphia, when they go down south, their whole position is totally different because they know that the blacks in that area are not going to put up with their foolishness, and they don't have protection that they have here with the law that they can get away with the things that they do. You know what I mean? So their whole attitude is a little bit different. They're more kinder. They're more abrupt to what do you call it, to responding to you with more respect. If you remember the situation with the young sister that was killed by a Korean woman, Natasha Collins, she murdered this little girl over orange juice, and then got probation, and then got moved, and they claimed that they moved her out of the country, right? And they moved her back to Korea. What I found out was that they moved her to New Jersey. So she's in New Jersey with another convenience store in New Jersey after murdering this little girl.
I hope she's in Camden, and I bet she won't do it again. Grandmaster, let's take a moment out because our lovely co-host has joined us, Miss Tosh Offset.
Yeah.
Offset.
What's up, Tasha Osh?
Hello.
Hello.
How's
How are you?
everyone?
We're doing good. We
All
miss
right.
you.
I
Man, it's been a
know. I'm
while
missing you here
since
too. Where
we've
I been?
convened
I don't know.
here on the Soul R&B Classics of the Grandmaster Jerry Bell.
Yes.
Welcome back, my beloved. How are
Thank
you?
I am well.
Good,
Rejuvenated and refreshed.
We all
trying
needed
to beat
a
the
little
heat
time.
right now.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
thank you for this air conditioning.
it's
right
hotter
now.
than a
Yeah,
$5
normally, normally I'd be complaining about the air conditioner.
I
It's
know.
hotter than a $5
Yes.
$5 Cadillac out there. I'm telling you. That's hot. Fresh off the
Mm-mm.
streets. Anyway, so welcome back.
Thank you.
Indeed, what have you been up to?
Oh, I'm in this play this weekend called
nice.
There I Said It,
Mm.
starring and produced by Chocolate Storm and Karen White.
Chocolate Storm?
Mm-hmm.
You know she was a broadcaster here.
She mentioned that, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she mentioned
man.
that.
She
So I was like, wow, what a
is
coincidence.
one of our favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was picked out of a line of poets by her and Karen White. You know who Karen White is? That's the young lady from the Cosby Show. They used to say, Lance, Lance,
I
her.
love her.
Yeah.
You mean Karen Parsons?
Well, I thought her name was Karen.
Light skinned
No,
sister.
No.
Oh, Karen White.
The one, the Charmaine. They used to call her Charmaine on the Cosby Show.
Okay. No,
And
I don't
also she
recall her.
played in Lean on Me as the young lady that was pregnant.
Ah, right.
Her.
Okay.
Yes. So
You know,
Yeah.
we call ourselves the other Hollywood. I like to refer to LA Talk Live
Mm-hmm.
and the Talk Live Broadcast Network
okay.
and to internet broadcasting as a whole as the other Hollywood. So ironically enough, connected to the Cosby Show,
Mm-hmm.
we had on Dondre Whitfield,
Whoa.
who was the love interest of Tempest Bledsoe on the Cosby Show.
remember,
What a
yeah.
good guy and so smart. We're gonna have him back. I had him on my show
Cool.
last Friday.
Cool.
And such a smart brother. He's working now, along with still acting and producing. He's working to help educate
Mm-hmm.
black folks
Okay.
in financial responsibility and awareness.
Oh,
so yeah, he's doing
cool.
some real positive stuff. Hey, listen, we got a phone caller on the line from the 904. Been very patient with his caller. Thank you for joining us here on Jerry Bell's Soul R&B Classics. What is your name and where are you calling from? Rep your town. Are you there? Okay, you're not saying that.
There it goes.
You know what I'm finding
Mm.
when it comes to our studio call-in line?
Mhm.
Some people are calling in just to listen to the station
Oh.
on their phones.
Okay.
Yeah, move that mic closer to your mouth there, mama. You can move it, turn it
Mhm.
sideways. Yeah, there
Yeah.
it is. Whoop, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Whoop, there it is. And you know,
So they
because
just like to listen in.
yeah, they're very voyeuristic with that,
Mhm.
you know, because I don't know why they don't know how to download the app.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have internet access, but they do realize
Mhm.
that they can at least call into the station and while they're on hold, listen.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let that caller sit there. I think that's what's going on right now with
They're
that.
like, man, just let me listen, man.
Yeah, man, don't keep hanging up on me. All right, so listen, man, we're gonna do some more work and take a break. We've got some guests coming in momentarily. It's so nice to see you, sister,
Yes.
back in the house.
Glad to be here.
See, he didn't say it was nice to see me. Then.
Oh, well, you know, it's always great to see the Grand Master.
And then he gonna sneak one in on us, you know.
Yeah, right on time. This one goes
What you
out
got?
to my girl, the Coco host, Tosh Asset, and also Mike McGrew. What it do? He's in the house today.
Yeah.
Great author, one of our strongest supporters for LA Talk Live. It's good to see you again, man. All right, we'll be taking a quick break, playing some music. Little Brothers Johnson in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Tosh, I'll set this one goes out to you in a minute. You'll be right on
Oh
time.
boy, Tosh, I got something for him though.
Now when you dancing to the music, just let yourself go. You move right into it. Don't be bashful or don't be ashamed, because there's somebody just wanna know your name. Everybody do it. Now go on and get down and party. Don't you want to? Let me see ya. Everybody do it. Let me see you moving. Get up, let it be right on time. Don't do in a minute. Watch out, y'all. We said the fun was coming. We said the fun was coming.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
How's it going?
Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, letterheads, church bulletins, funeral programs, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dawn Christie inviting you to join me every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for my all-new show, The Dawn Christie Show. Join me as I discuss love, spiritual readings, your purpose, why am I born, what am I here to do. So don't forget to tune in The Dawn Christie Show at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey y'all, I'm Shaquem Williams and I'm the host of The Shock Factor here on LA Talk Live. We broadcast to the world every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live music, live performances, we're just live. Chef Momo, Life MC, Diana, and once again your host Shaquem Williams. So come join us every Friday here at LA Talk Live, the world-leading broadcasting internet radio station. The Shock Factor. The Shock Factor.
Join us on the Shock Factor.
Say light away. Time for taking words away. The melody will tell the story as we go along.
And we're back, y'all.
Booyaka, booyaka.
Right here with Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics. Then the sound that you
So
heard
melodic.
making the noise in the background, not the music, but the noise,
Oosh.
was the grasshopper trying to hop his way into. He could try some kind of way to sing something.
That was beautiful.
I kind of hit a note though.
Do you know who this is?
No. Hold on.
Take 6.
No.
That would be take 5.
Take 5.
But if you need an extra minute, we'll give you one.
Right.
No, man. You stumped me. And bear in mind, we've got Stump the Grandmaster coming up in the second hour of the show too.
So I'm stumping him right now.
Yeah, you got me on this one.
Okay, take a little bit more listen to it real quick. You'll never guess anyway.
Dreams you had, I knew what
Are you ready?
Mandrill.
No, Mandrill. Wish.
Long way from Mandrill. Way too smooth.
No.
It has a spiral gyra,
Almost,
kind
but
of
not,
musical
no.
flow.
Yeah, no.
Lion
but the,
King singers.
But the harmonies of the vocals
Off the chain.
off the chain.
Yes.
Yeah, this
Give
is
it to
the
him.
illustrious sounds of Bobby McFerrin, y'all.
How could we not know that?
I was just
Doggone
gonna
it.
say that. I was
Yeah.
just gonna say that.
Doggone it.
Mm. Who
I
is
should
this
have
guy over
known
here?
that. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you one of the
Yeah.
best friends LA Talk Live has ever met, Michael McGrew, author, writer extraordinaire.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, my brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. Once
Indeed,
again, it's
indeed,
always love.
indeed. Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. And you're wearing your T-shirt, which I always like. Authors rock.
Authors rock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
you know,
welcome back to the studio, man. So you done growed your hair out some?
I'm still trying to find my look, man. Still trying to find my
You
look.
have so many. You are a blank canvas of
Exactly.
good looks.
Thanks. I appreciate
Do what
that.
you want.
I appreciate
Do
that,
you.
man. You know,
Yeah, no
it-
doubt.
It's rare I get a compliment.
Knock it off. Yeah. Anyway, so welcome back to the show, Michael McGrew.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
You must have brought one of your newest books because I see Grandmaster is in custody of it.
Yes, sir, brother.
I'm watching them closely too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What you got going on there?
designer's relationship.
Yeah, get out of your problems and into your purpose. My first self-improvement piece, man. I'm happy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move that mic a little bit in the direction that you're going to be able to be
Okay.
heard clearly on it. And you know, you've been talking about doing this for a while. Last you were here, in fact, you mentioned that you were going to be working on a new book, self-improvement book, designer
Relationships. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I wrote.
Hold that up to the camera there, Tosh.
I wrote
Take a look at
my after I mentioned that, you know, as we all know, your thoughts
Perfect.
become actions. I wrote half of a chapter today. I mentioned writing a self-improvement
Wow.
piece. So, I'm real proud of it. You know, anybody who knows me and my work knows that I come from fiction, you know, urban fiction. But even in that genre, I wanted to contribute or provide some good material for my readers.
Right.
So, you know, if God brought you to it, he bring you through it. So I just knew that eventually I
I
was
like
going to
that.
get to that, you know, to this particular genre here.
Mike, let's talk a little bit about some of the other books that you've written.
My first book I wrote in 2008. In 4 months, it was called My Kind of Girl. It really captured the essence of what how a story is supposed to be written. You know, it's not degrading. I sold 5,000 copies my first year.
Nice.
Learned a lot. Oh, thanks. Where are those people coming from?
That's what Ralph Johnson said.
Real tiny little people in the board, actually.
Oh, okay.
And I push a button to electrocute them, and they start clapping.
Uh-huh.
You
Now,
got them well
now I'm
trained.
gonna get a bunch of emails about how much money I owe the clappers and the audience. But no, you know, I wrote My Kind of Girl, sold 5,000 copies my first year. It created a huge demand, and from there, my marketing. I've always been a big fan of marketing and understanding how important a brand is. If your brand outlasts your brand always outlasts your product. So really focus on my image, my branding, and my articulation of describing the materials that I would like to write and publish. But since then, I've written 6 novels, 3 of which have not been published yet. Those are teen fiction novels. My second book was Taking Losses. My third was Room 111. That's pretty much, it's closer to nonfiction than fiction. It's based on actual events about the music industry and what artists truly endure and go through, you know, behind the scenes.
You need to talk to me. I'll tell you.
Yeah, you should see the trailer. It's actually we just adapted it to a screenplay, so we're pitching it, you know,
wow,
for
nice.
a screenplay right now.
Nice.
But really, I'm just on this designer relationships. It's a niche that I developed. Basically, it just talks about, you know, the secret. You are who you want to be. You know, I am, which is inspiration amongst manifestation. Therefore, I started my own organization based on this book too. The I Am Project for Literacy.
Now, let me jump in here, and I know Grandmaster, we're going to, now that Mike is here and Tosh is here, we're going to rejoin that conversation
Right.
about Donald Duck, was it?
Yeah.
Or Stern, my bad. Sorry. Anyway, but while Mike is here, I want to take a few moments out to reintroduce him to our audience. It certainly has grown since you were last here for all of our first-time listeners and our regulars. You wrote fiction based on, as you just said, you know, observations and realities that you had observed,
Yeah.
moving through society and amongst different individuals and seeing what life's like in the entertainment industry and in sports and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
What brings you now to designer relationships, and what does that mean? You
Yeah.
said got to bring you to it and bring you through it. I think I like that.
Uh-huh.
Right. What brings you to this point now, and what does designer relationships
It's
mean?
it's my purpose, and it's something that I would like to share with the world. Not just my neighborhood, not just family members, not just friends, but the world. I tell children all the time. Saying you want to change the world isn't
Enough.
isn't enough. You can change the world. But like I said earlier, thought becomes action. I discovered my purpose the day I wanted to become a master of one mountain, as opposed to 1,000 foothills. I was known for being the jack of all trades. I always looked for the next come up. Growing up, and at 27, I finally sat down and decided to just choose one thing and be an expert at. Millionaires, even though millionaires have more than one hustle, they're known for one unique gift.
There's still that same person inside. No matter the hustle is just the extension of the growth of their wealth. The fact is, the person inside, hardworking, this, that, the other, all of those personal characteristics is what is the only thing that's unique and central about that individual.
Absolutely.
So all of these other things we do in the daily bumping grind of life to earn a living and find a place of comfort in the world is one thing. People call themselves a jack of all trades, but in the old days they called them Renaissance men.
Absolutely.
And women.
Yeah, and I mean, we all have these unique gifts, and I've always been a good storyteller. Therefore, I challenge myself, and challenging yourself and being competitive with your own, with your inner genius is better than competing with your brother or sister. So I decided to sit down, write a book. It was successful, and therefore everything that I occupy my endorsement has something to do with literacy. And from there, I started to, become a literacy advocate as opposed to an author. At one time, I just wanted the money. Here's a book for $15. But then it was, what can you do to help somebody else? So that's where my organization came about, the I Am Project for Literacy. And I'm obsessed with giving. In fact, I believe that's why God gave us two arms, one to give and one to receive. My $20 come with W-9s.
I'll fill that out.
But I'm a different person. It took 10 years for me to lose my mind, and in a good way. I unlearned all the lies and indoctrination that I've
miseducation.
Miseducation.
We were talking about that when the show started, Grandmaster and I.
And I encourage people to do so by stop repeating what you've been told, and stop repeating what you've heard, and actually go and research it. It really breaks my heart when I approach young men and ask them how they doing, and they say something like slow motion, trying to get in where I fit in. But then when you challenge them and say, okay, what do you mean by that? Now they're forced to think, so therefore, since they don't have the answer, they get aggressive. And don't get aggressive. The pen is mightier than the sword. That's how we're being whooped right now.
And Mike, you born and raised where?
Los Angeles.
Word. You're a native.
Oh yeah, okay. Los Angeles, California, Inglewood. Recently just moved back out here from Virginia in 2011. Yeah, I moved back out here from Virginia.
Probably right about the time we met you.
Yeah.
The first time.
Oh, I hit the ground running.
I know that's
when I moved back out here. So I had my whole game plan down because I found myself in Virginia. I think I was removed from the Los Angeles scene because at that time I was just, I was working for BET, lost my job at BET. I started to navigate towards, the adult film industry, and then, throwing parties, and I was always active. And at the same time, I was a single father as well.
Wow.
So I think I was removed from that scene so I could focus primarily on, what my son taught me. My son is my biggest role model. He taught me so much.
Wow.
Just raising him and having those types of responsibilities.
How old's your son now?
He'll be 15 on the 26th.
Whoa, he's old enough to teach you something too.
Yeah, he's in his I know phase.
Word.
I just want to, okay.
There's a quote that he have right here. I just want to read. It says, "Don't go to work, go to life." I think all of us can relate to that right now.
That's right.
And that's how I've been feeling lately. I just want to do what I love.
Yeah.
I love spoken word, and that's what I made my mind up to do, and I'm going to master my craft. he's doing what he loves to do. He has his own radio
Who
show.
says I love to know?
I can see you just love it.
I'm in
the
my
way you
purpose,
look,
yeah.
the way you light up.
Yeah.
Jerry's doing what he loves to do, so we all doing that.
What is that? I don't
Jumped
know. What are you talking about?
None.
You love being
Dang.
here. Shut up. Let's take a moment
Love
out to
this
welcome.
Being around the grasshopper?
Let's take a moment out to welcome the inimitable Shock, Kim
Shock.
Williams.
Yeah,
Hey,
Shock
guys.
is getting broken up
Of the
today.
Shock
What's up,
Factor.
How you guys doing, man?
Hey, man.
It's always a pleasure to be here on Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics.
No, you don't answer your telephone, dude. I'm breaking you up.
Oh,
What you mean? You need to call me, Jerry?
Yeah, I called you, man. You know I called you.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
you know, if,
No, you didn't.
for you folks out there who are fans of the Shock Factor, and of course LA Talk Live as well, there was some video footage posted on Facebook in which the Grandmaster broke Shock down like a cheap lawn chair.
Yeah, everybody was laughing about it.
Yeah,
It
that
was
got a lot of
cool.
hits.
Yeah, they got a lot of hits. I had a lot of fun though. But
Mm.
next time, I'm not gonna be nobody's out there punching bag. You're not gonna do
Or-
that to me
Or
again, Jerry.
test dummy, we called it.
Crash dummy.
Crash dummy, because Grandmaster was trying all kinds of stuff on him.
I
and
still
it
feel that
looked
my
very
fingers
painful.
out of place still.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
whatever. I didn't touch you,
You
right.
put a hurting on him.
Well, okay, yeah, he
Oh.
did. You got to go to Facebook and check that out. I wanted you
Okay.
to go back to the quote from the book
Mhm.
itself, though. Let's go back to that.
Huh, what page is that?
Oh,
it's
Zach, now, but I
in
put
one
you-
It's
of
okay,
them.
but yeah, it said, don't go to work, go to life.
Go to life, go to joy.
life,
Mhm.
yes. And that just, I don't know, that hit me some kind of way.
Mm.
It just jumped out of me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. I think I'm gonna have to buy this book right
Oh
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
By all means. You
It's
know,
a-
one of
it's a
my
good
things is when folks talk about work and stuff like that, you know, people have come to me and say, hey, man, I need a job. I said, no, a job is the journey of the broke. You need work.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I used to do a show called the New Entrepreneurs Weekly Summit, and my motto was anything you do 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you will eventually master. So be the master of your own dreams or be the slave of
Yes.
someone else's.
Right.
Because
Whoa.
if they put you to work, you better believe within about 3 to 6 months, you better get that job down pat or you're getting the boot.
That's right. That's
If
so
you
true.
apply that same daily hustle and grind to your own efforts,
Mhm.
fascinating the results.
You know what I noticed? Everything that I wanted to do as a child, I'm really doing
Starting
as an
to do it
adult.
now.
But I did many other things in between. But when I was younger, I used to be like, you know, I want to be a dancer, and I have danced, you know, like a hip hop dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Pole. No, just playing.
Ooh.
Just playing.
Is there a video for that?
Oh, boy.
Where's the
but,
video
you
for
know,
that?
and also I wanted to write music and you know, poems, and I'm doing that now. And I always love fashion and style, and I make earrings. So it's just a thought, you know. All these things I wanted to do as a child are manifesting in my life now.
It's perceived that way, especially and with all due respect, because of youth. And as you see your life unfold before you, it seems as if it's almost magic. But the fact of the matter is, it is truly just a pure power of the brain that is now leading you to your sense of self-fulfillment and self-actualization, as Abraham Maslow describes it, because it's been in your mind that long as a seed, and it's going to grow.
Wow.
So again, anything you do 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, be it karate, martial arts, masturbation, drug dealing,
He's
stock
naming his
exchange,
thing.
drinking wine, smoking weed, whatever it is. You spend enough time doing it, thinking about it, and focusing on it. Your brain is the engine, and in fact, the controller of all the neurons and nerves in your body. So whatever you think about, you're going to go out and execute inevitably.
So your subconscious is working.
Not just the subconscious, but even the conscious mind, because we make the conscious decision to get off our butts and do good or do bad.
True.
But that's in your mind. You are fulfilling your purpose and your vision. And let me go back. You're fulfilling your purpose because it is, in my belief, your purpose that birthed you. You were born for a purpose. We just spend a whole lot of time, you know, pardon the reference, bumblefucking around trying to figure out what it is. Here you take a cat like Mike McGrew, who finds his purpose in literacy, which is, I think, the most important part of what Mike represents to me, because I'm a closet writer. I'm a closet poet. I'm a closet painter.
Super freak.
Super freak. I didn't think that got out to the web. I thought they had hit that footage of me and the donkey back in Mexico in '72. But anyway, you take a cat like Shaquem Williams, you take a cat like Jerry Bell, you take a beautiful sister like yourself. Our purpose, was a womb from which we were birthed.
Yeah.
We just spend a lot of time trying to figure it out through concepts of fantasy and fear and want and need, when none of that really exists. Just be.
That fear is an enemy. I swear that it just stops you and just.
I said this to a friend of mine last week. Fear starts with fantasy. Think about it. It does. You're only afraid of something that you anticipate might happen. The old acronym: fantasy, expectations, appearing real, fear. But fear starts with fantasy.
I just can't get over the fear of knowing that he would try to sing.
Oh, well. Let me erase your fear.
No, please don't.
Anyway, so I want to get back. I want to get back to Mike real quick, because I love this literacy project that you're on. That's critical for our young people nowadays, and I think it's a great way of showing young people how to find a path. Go ahead. Yeah, go, Mike. We're swinging the mic back to you now. Talk a little bit more about your path of helping promote literacy in our community amongst young people, and a little bit about what you've got going on with this new book. Because we talked about the book itself. I'll ask you again, what is a designer relationship?
A designer relationship is
closer to that mic.
A designer relationship is basically preventing yourself from looking outside the window to be entertained and focusing more on your dirty living room. You know, focusing on self, building self, trusting self, believing in self before you can reciprocate that with others. You know, the mind of the man is often unknown to the man who has the mind. So, therefore, this isn't a book based on fashion. This is a book based on facilitating value within yourself, so you can prepare yourself for the real world.
Right.
If you don't love yourself, it's impossible for someone else to love you. If you don't respect yourself, it's impossible for someone else to respect you. So the energy that you put out is what the energy you receive is the energy that you put out. So that's basically designer relationships in a nutshell. In a nutshell. But focusing specifically on yourself with your core strengths, developing your social status, finding who you are and what complements your weaknesses, developing a strong platform for you to pursue your dreams and facilitate good memories as opposed to nightmares, and just living a life according to your standard and no one else's. So it's a not necessarily just a walk in the park, but it's a lifestyle for me, and something that I would like to share with friends and the world itself.
The purpose of the book, the intent of the book, the audience that you target with the book.
Oh, well, we target, before I wrote this book, I wrote an outline for it, which I call Skeleton. So I knew that I was going to start an organization, the Iron Project for Literacy. So I wanted to touch, teenagers, young teens, and adults. So our demographic is, I would say, 14 to 25, as far as my organization. But the book itself it's there is no demographic for this book. In fact, I sent out maybe 25 exclusive, copies specifically for reviews and things of that nature. And now the reviews are pouring in. So I chose, teenagers all the way up to 53-year-old woman. So she's enjoying the book. I'm receiving the emails and how good the book is. And I'm really, even though it releases on the 29th, I'm just really building anticipation for the particular book right now. So we have a few good reviews, and it's just a product piece, a flagship product to distribute. In fact, Hill Harper's organization, Manifest Your Destiny, they picked it up as a required read for their organization. So we want to get this not only, I sold my first 5,000 copies out the trunk of my car of My Kind of Girl. This book is going through the school system. So I'm targeting, the youth, because they are the future, and aligning myself with my purpose. It's I'm not being pulled in many directions. Everything I do is targeted towards helping the youth discover their purpose. And I wake up with that intent to give. So a lot of blessings are coming my way. And right now I'm not turning down anything but my collar.
And he has no collar today, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you watching today, Shock Factor.
Nice. I mean, that, and I look at that and just hear that story, and that's so awesome because there's a lot of the times that, what we're failing in our schools right now, where they're failing at, is reading.
Yeah.
Not only reading, but understanding, what I call understanding what's actually going on. Reading and math. They're reading below, their efficiency rate. And then school teachers are actually cheating, right? And systems are cheating just to get the kids to get by so they can get grant money.
That's that No Child Left Behind.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of that is going down, and you realize and you recognize that we have to do our own due diligence and go get our own kids, and we got to make the change. We can't let the school system keep on failing them.
Well, you don't want slaves to develop a tendency to challenge authority.
Right.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
and look, I've said this before. What has happened with the powers that be has destroyed the real teaching. The real teaching, not too hot, brother, because I'm freezing up there. The real teaching was when we sat with our families and our grandmothers and grandfathers, and they taught you, how to live in this life and what respect is, and how to respect one another, and how you respect your siblings, and how you respect the community. When they took that away from us, when they divided and conquered the family, and they took the men away, they started slaughtering the men. The slaughter started from putting us in the penitentiary, sending us to war, and then the drugs, the alcohol, all these type of things that there's this old saying that they have, the CIA has, it's called, you cut the head off the snake and the body dies. So once they cut the head off, then the women became dependent, the children became dependent on the system. And then it was that whole reinvention of, let me take these slaves and turn them into what I want them to be. So I will make them robotic under my rules, regulations, and laws that I make up. And this is what's been happening with us, you know what I mean? With our youth, with our children, with our women. Even the women are not the way that our mothers and grandmothers came up, and the women of yesteryear. The women are totally different today, man. And they do not understand the fact that they don't have to go at life the way that they are going at it, especially our women.
Well, a good metaphor I like to use for the welfare system is if you call the Department of Wildlife right now,
right,
and ask them, sir or ma'am, I have a question to ask. Why can't I feed the animals? And she's gonna tell you simply because the animals grow dependent upon you feeding them. So that goes to welfare.
Right.
If you feed the animals on a consistent basis, they grow dependent upon that. 10 years ago, I've known people who don't do anything with their life except walk to the mailbox every first of the 15th.
Right.
And you grow dependent upon that.
Right.
And I don't consider our people animals, but there are some entities who do.
Yeah.
So it's the same policy within a system, and we have to break ourselves away from the system. So not only do I practice individualism, I don't practice individualism, but the designer relationship idea I would like to formulate for a community. We need to design our own system,
right,
and develop our own land, develop our own banks and businesses and institutions. And I don't think that's too much to ask for.
No, it's not.
Can we do it at this time while everything is being governed and monopolized right now? Is it possible?
I was getting ready to address that.
Sure. It's very possible.
We can do whatever we want. The thing that comes into play is whether or not we stick together as a united people,
Is that possible?
A united ethnic people to do this, because every other race has a union. the Koreans, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Mexicans, the Armenians, the Italians, all of them, you know, and whether they get along or not in certain things, when it comes to uniting, they unite. We are divided because the Jim Crow effect has been so dynamic in our lives that you know, they've taught us how to destroy one another. You know, and that old thing that Jim Crow said, you know, you want to know how to keep your slaves in check? Well, this is how you do it.
And thank you for saying that, Jerry, because I get into these conversations and, you know, people always like, Tasha, you always trying to blame the white man. I'm not trying to blame no white man, but there's a grand unified theory. There's something that happened to put us in check right now. You know, a lot of people, we break free and we go off and do these great grand things, but you have to look at the system and what it has done to us as people.
Let me say this to you. Whoever makes that statement is ignorant, because number one, they sit behind a fake wall that they live in this country, and they're sold certain bullshit on television. They sit and watch TV and they watch these TV shows and they don't even realize that they're being programmed to believe that what comes out of their mouth.
Exactly.
And when you look at television or movies, it is a program. That's what they're doing, programming you. Now, every show that comes on television to this day is about what? The CIA, the FBI, the PD.
Slaves.
No,
movies.
Movies. It's all about locking you into this thing and letting you know that you can't escape. This is the political realm that you're held in, and it's all about law enforcement. Everything's about law, TV shows, and if it's not that, it's vampirism, sorcery, and witchcraft.
You know, let me just add my little piece to this, because
can you make it real quick before we go to the break, or would you like to wait till after?
We'll wait till after.
Right, you're gonna remember. No, you're gonna remember. You know you're old, and you know.
Take us to the bridge, Grandmaster.
You are here on Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics, y'all, listening to the beautiful sounds of.
You don't know. That's Samandy.
Yes,
a little something I saved just for you from 3 weeks ago. This one's called Bird. Check out the lyrics.
Here we go, y'all.
Where I go. Well, they might bring me down. 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 There's no place where I can go and show my face. How I dream that the day will come when we will sing. In my world full of pleasant dreams, I see a bird of love that just lingers on high above. Well, they want to bring me down. Well, they want to bring me down.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Sequoia Neff.
And this is Jay Rios. And I'm Sherrod Moore.
Inviting you to join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Battle of the Sexes as we discuss his and her views on topics no one wants to touch.
Where we keep it 100% real.
And interesting.
And it is pure comedy. So don't forget to tune in to Battle of the Sexes Mondays at 7 p.m. Exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio.
Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on latalklive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey y'all, I'm Shaquem Williams, and I'm the host of The Shock Factor here on LA Talk Live. We broadcast to the world every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live music, live performances, we're just live. Chef Momo, Life MC, Diana, and once again, your host, Shaquem Williams. So come join us every Friday here at LA Talk Live, the world-leading broadcasting internet radio station. The Shock Factor. The Shock Factor. Come join us on The Shock Factor.
Born to Cuban descendants, young, black, cool, independent, and everybody likes to call her Harlem's Rose. I fell in love from the first glance. She was the definition of romance. Must be a home in heaven waiting in the sky. Started hanging out together day and night. Body was making Caliente so tight. Life so strong. I never should have done her wrong. Now I want you back. I remember how she used to lay. After the love, all the games we played. Lied to a friend, love's at an end. My heaven is gone. So I cry a little more each night, because I'm never gonna hold you tight no more. Come back to me, Rosita. The name black rose. The name black rose. As the wind blows the willows, I can still see her face on my pillow. With every teardrop, I almost feel her in my arms. In my arms. My head keeps on pounding. I can't stop the sound of the rain above. The cry of love. Cause nothing is clearer than guilty eyes, so full of lies.
Yes, and we are here.
Yeah.
Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics, y'all. And the illustrious sounds and guitar playing and vocals, real vocals, is that of Mr. George Benson, y'all.
He killed that.
Yeah.
George lives out here, doesn't he? In the valley.
Uh-uh.
Oh, he lives in the valley.
No. George lives out of the country.
That's what I thought I heard too.
Yeah.
He lives in Los Angeles?
In Europe.
He
Oh,
said
Europe?
out of the country. Los Angeles. I like it. Good point. Good point.
Los Angeles is out of the country.
So, welcome back, ladies
Crazy
and gentlemen.
place.
And before the break, I wanted to rejoin the conversation with Shaquem Williams. Shock Factor
thank
every
you.
Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific. Precedes my show, which is Speak on It, every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Speak it, own it.
Say it, believe it, own it.
Yeah.
That's what Speak On It's all about. But I want to come back to what we were talking about just before the break, Shaquem, and let you finish up on your point there.
Yeah, we was talking about, young adults. I don't want to call them kids because kids is, like a goat, baby goats. But the reality of it, we say we care about the kids. And, we see all these things, but there are so many things out there that says something differently. I don't think we care about the kids like what we say we do. Like we're so
That's
passionate because there are so many things. But one of the things that I really wanted to say, we were speaking earlier. Jerry was speaking. I was watching and I was reading the internet because I don't watch TV at all anymore. And I'm seeing some stuff in the Jewish community was talking about monetary. Now this is the Jewish community in the United States, right? We're talking about monetary things that was going on outside, international, and in the country of the United States. So they form these panels, right, to discuss about this, and then they go abroad and then they talk about monetary actions. I was sitting there thinking, I'm pretty aware of a lot of things. I don't know of any black people or organizations, right, that we have that's going out and having money conversations. Like we talk about a lot of the social and civil aspects in this country, but we don't deal with the monetary aspect of black people and all our money together. Now we can sit here and talk about every social thing, which we need to, but until we first sit down and talk about the money, what is our money doing?
You know why?
Well, we know why.
The purpose is always to keep us away from that factor. One of the things that we need to understand is that this federal note is not money.
It's a note.
Money is silver and gold. That's money.
Right.
And until we understand that, you got people running around here killing over some white boy on the face of $1. And which is foolishness, because it's not real. It's and in a minute it's getting ready. This whole thing with that paper is getting ready to collapse. They're going to collapse it purposely. The what we're looking at as far as real money is concerned is gold and silver and platinum. That's money. And with that, you can trade on it. You can buy beyond your imagination on that. But they want to keep us from knowing this. That's why they make it seem as though if you were to go to Africa, that's a place where they'll eat you and boil you, and and people really believe that. I'm not going to Africa. I'm not going over there.
Right.
The Africans don't like me. This kind of attitude that they take.
Start mess.
Right, but they don't know the truth. The truth is that's our home. We can actually go back. I have people right now in Ghana. The president of Ghana said that any African Americans that come back to Africa, to Ghana, he will give them as much land as they can take care of. All you got to do is develop the land, build on it.
Right.
They need us. They're waiting on us. We have the knowledge that they need. They have the resources. We got the knowledge. But we too caught up in bullshit here in this country to really seek out what is ours truthfully. Every other person that's in this land can always go back to their land. The Mexicans go to Mexico, which they can still stay here because this part of this is theirs.
Right.
The Germans go back to Germany. The Russians go back to Russia. The Armenians go back to Armenia. The Japanese, the Chinese, they all go back to their land, their country. We are stuck here believing that this is a place that we should be.
Why do you believe, Jerry, that Africans that was kidnapped and brought to America, right? Us. Why? Because I don't want to. I hate calling us African American. That's like an oxymoron.
Right. We're Africans.
Right. Like why do you think from the things that you've
That's a contradiction if you're more though. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah.
Like how do we feel as if we don't have a home? Like and we're ultimately homeless, and we really believe. I would say over 90% of I don't want to call them black people because they're not black. We're not black, right? People say, "What do you mean you're not black?" Well,
it's fine to say Africans and
just the Africans here. we don't feel that, we know that, that relationship was severed through 200 years of I'm beating you down so bad that you're not going to think about that place, and then it was passed in our DNA, and then right now we exist and we still don't feel like we have a home. But it's that disconnection. Like, it would appear like we would have made a conscious decision to say, this is our home, let's go back here and let's develop it. But that's the last thing that we're thinking about.
That's the last thing they want you to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that that would bring the total destruction of their tyranny. That would bring the total destruction.
What's stopping us, though?
Because
ourselves.
It's a mental thing. Mm-hmm. It's mentally embedded into the bloodstream of our people here to believe that this is the land of milk and honey, and that we're receiving all that is ours. And then the other aspect is a lot of our people are very lazy. They don't want to go and toil the land, and work it.
Milk,
you know what I mean?
Right.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to have to think about. See, this what they sell our people on is that Africa is barren desert with lions. You know what I mean? And elephants.
Kids walking
and
around
kind of,
sick, coughing,
all that kind of stuff. That's what they sell you on. They don't know that our people have not seen the other side of Africa that looks like downtown LA. That looks like Beverly Hills. They haven't been to Johannesburg. They don't know what's up with the realities of the way that Africa really looks. They haven't been to every part. They only show certain aspects of Africa that they want you to know about. You know what I mean? And then they haven't
fear.
Correct. And then they haven't shown us the realities of what Africa holds. The diamonds, the gold, the cobalt, the ore, even all the medicines in the Congo, the things that we can do to survive for the rest of eternity. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
And never having to really grow old and run
keep
down.
Keep us distracted while Belgium, Portuguese, the Europeans, everyone is over there digging and taking what was ours.
The Jews are constantly got their foot hold over there. Now the Chinese are there.
Chinese too.
You know what I mean?
They just gave them what?
Everybody's sitting down and eating off of Africa
Yeah.
and taking a meal off of it. We're sitting here.
It's very sickening. And and as I went and I traveled and journeyed through life, and you think about what can you do? You have to start somewhere, because we know the problems and the issues. Like, we have to start. Like when this brother right here talking about his book, and teaching, and helping with literacy. Because people are unaware and uninformed about what you just said, Jerry, and then everything else. And they just more so get that money. Get that money. Get that money.
But let me say this to you. Let me tell you what's going to happen. If you don't believe anything, all you have to do is walk out your house at night and look up into the sky and look at the stars, the moon, and the motion of everything on the planet. Go to the beach and look at the ocean. Guaranteed that whatever these people are putting out, you cannot continue on the planet to do the wickedness that is taking place without it. I'm telling you, without it coming back to you.
It's happening right now.
Yes, in many forms. Look,
you just have to man your position for what's right now, because I feel like we're setting things up for the children. I wish I could go back and be like, oh, I wish I would have did this and did that, but I know now that I am positioning children. I'm inspiring in them with music and spoken word, and giving them some knowledge back, just like you're doing, and Shakim and the most of us are doing.
But you know what? Even what little tiny inkling of what we have at this point is still not enough, because even sitting at this panel, we have not dug.
That's about the size of a mustard seed.
That's right. And we have not dug into the deepest realms of our existence, of who we are and where we come from and what knowledge we have. We spend so much time competing with the powers that be to outdo them or to try to catch up, to get away from what they're putting on us, as well as trying to share with other people the little bit of knowledge that we do have, that we have not had a chance to go into the caves and gather ourselves and everything, nor have we had the opportunity to do like the monks do, where they can sit and summons at will whatever they
Closer
want.
to that mic, Grandmaster.
At will, whatever they want. And these are the things that come from us. This is what we were. This is what. When we were created, we walked through space with nothing holding us. We could summons whatever we wanted, and it would come to us. We've lost that on this part of the planet.
What you heard what Donald Sterling said is that, you know, when the Jews get money, they help out their people. Right. He said that, and I thought about that. Right. And asked myself, is that a racist statement or is it the truth?
It's the truth. I'm so thankful for Donald Sterling right now.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him one bit.
Not
I am
at
not
all.
mad at him.
Well,
What? Go ahead. No. Go
interesting
ahead.
that you
Yeah,
say
I'm not
that
mad at him.
because he made some comments about Magic Johnson.
I'm just saying that one comment
that I thought was pretty poignant about him, you know, having run around the country, having sex with women, even though he was married, you know, contracted HIV. What has he done for the black community? Although I hear there are things that he did, and lots of folks came out in defense of Magic and talked about the millions of dollars he raised for AIDS awareness and stuff like that. And why wouldn't you if you had it, right?
But who started AIDS?
Well,
so
you know,
who was he working for? But that's another conversation,
right?
right?
Okay,
exactly.
And I thought he made some very interesting points. Although I thought overall, I mean, someone else said this on one of the news shows the other day. How could somebody that ignorant and dumb and, you know, backwards thinking become so wealthy? How did he amass the wealth to, you know, buy a NBA team, which takes hundreds of millions of dollars just to buy into the league?
Well, slave money.
Well, yeah.
And because they stick together.
Yeah.
Because
Global elite.
he can go to Jaime Glitzstein and say, hey, I need a loan.
Yeah.
Because I'm bringing the ship from the slavery, the Clippers. I'm bringing them, you know.
So
that's ironic.
His whole thing, he did not want to offend the code. He didn't want to offend his crew, his clique. He know what time it is, and he was putting that girl in check.
And
like, this is what we abide by. This is what we do. Hush your mouth. Do what you need to do. He was trying to tell her, but, you know. But they trying to get rid of him. Like, come on.
But see, the thing about that, look.
Let's talk about the money.
Oh, that's what I'm getting ready to say. The thing about that is, with the ignorance in the people, is okay, so you kick him, you get him off. You get him, he's no longer the manager or the owner of the Clippers, so he got to sell the team.
It's a billionaire.
He's still going to walk away as a billionaire,
Right.
or more. You know what I mean? So he has lost nothing. Basically, what he was crying about when he broke down in emotional tears, if you listen carefully, he was talking about his relationship with the girl.
Right.
You know, don't people know that I'm old and this? I want to have some fun. He ain't give a shit about the Clippers or anybody else, black
or white or green or whatever.
So this is the thing. Everybody's all up in arms and they trying to defend Magic, and you know, Magic. It's true. Magic ain't did jack for our people. With all the money, him, Oprah Winfrey, all of those entities, all those different people out there, the Jamie Foxxes, all of them.
That's what I've wondered, Grandmaster.
Yeah, but you know,
I mean,
you know
how
what
many of these super wealthy black people,
and I know a lot of them,
do anything for our community? Why don't we have our own, you know, TV network? Why don't we
Bill
have
Cosby,
our own,
all of them,
you know, NBA team? Why don't we own an arena?
Save Lamert Park for $200,000.
Thank you very much,
Just
you
drop
know?
it on there. $200,000. Lamert save. You know.
Who do y'all believe was the entertainer that gave the most money?
Michael Jackson.
And they killed him.
Yeah.
And think about.
But Michael was stood alone.
And right.
If it was Denzel, which he will never do, Denzel and Michael Jordan and all these basketball players and all these football, like Minister Farrakhan said.
Slave mentality, man.
Minister Farrakhan said it perfect. He said they run and knock down tanks and dunk to the Empire State Building, but when it come time for them to speak, oh hi, okay, you know, they talk like little girls. They're afraid of this system. They're afraid to die. Let me tell you something, man. My mother used to tell me, if you're not willing to die for something, you ain't worthy of living for anything.
Right.
You're gonna die from a common cold. Sooner or later, the planet is going to absorb you back to where you came from. You were placed here for a purpose, to do something righteous and right. And if you can't do that, you don't have no purpose on the planet anyway. And no one can kill you until it's time for you to go, if it is sanctioned for that particular time. They can shoot the gun at you and the bullet don't have to touch you. You know what I'm saying? So they're walking around again with this fear, the fear factor. The white boy is a master at laying fear out on the table. And we are the ones that suck it up, believing that foolishness.
Well, you say Minister Farrakhan made the comment about athletes, but many, many years ago, in the early 70s, let us take our minds back to the great Last Poets.
Oh, yeah.
Who, from one of their tracks, said, pardon my language, America and the world, niggas love baseball, basketball, and football, while the white man's playing with their balls.
Right.
That's from true. Like 71, 72, the Last Poets.
That's right. That's right. That's
Man,
right.
Never forgot it.
That was deep right there. Yeah. That's real, but that's what they give us, though.
Yep.
You know? And we talk about these
that's
actors and
that's why.
That's what we take. But we don't stand out and demand, you know, respect or anything of that nature, because just like Paul Mooney says, man, if you get too successful, they're gonna take your promise. You know, and I think specifically he was talking about Richard Pryor because that was his closest confidant at that time. So he was speaking from experience. Yeah. You know, Richard Pryor, they took him and put him in those commercialized films and things of that nature. But in order for you to get to that $20 million club, man, you can't put money back into your community.
Yeah. And I totally believe that those are the, you know, once you start getting into certain clubs and certain tax brackets, you know, some people come see you. Some people have conversations with you, and then you have to, and then if you're the kind of brother or sister that's listening to your so-called financial advisors, right? You listening to these financial advisors, what do you think they're telling you? To invest in your community? No, of course not. They're not telling you that. They want you to invest in things that's outside of your community. But, and you look at, and we talk about the money, and this is, and I don't want to call it money, I'm just looking at the economics of it. You know, our economics is so shattered. Like I give the statistic, you know, after the Civil War, there was about 250,000 so-called free slaves, and they at that time had 0.05 of the GDP, gross national product, right? What they ranged. Now, that was, you know, when 17 something, 18 something. Okay, we're at 2014. Where do you think that number is? I'm serious. Like, take a guess. Where do you think the number is? It's the same. It ain't moved. So what they've done cleverly with TV, whatever broadcasting tools, is given the appearance that, man, they are getting it, and they flashy, you know, because of the so-called stars. They put the stars up in front, and those people are really working for them to keep the image going. So for the little kids, it's a cycle. So when the little kids see, oh man, that guy's on stage or out there or whatever, entertaining, singing or doing whatever, as a little adult, young adult, sorry about the kid reference, but as a young adult and as a child, you're psychologically receiving frequencies that they're beaming in the lower, your higher chakras, and keep you settled in your lower chakras. So I don't want you to have a higher self, or, you know, any other thought higher than your penis or your navel. You know what I'm saying? You're not going higher than that. And that's what it's been a continuous cycle. If we just pay attention, and then we have to learn how, because I'm a producer. I look at patterns all day. I see patterns all day.
Wow.
Break the pattern. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know that there's a pattern,
right?
Now you don't know, you think I can get that money get that, you know, and everybody's on. I got to get
Being
my
in
hustle
music
on.
help you work through the matrix, man.
Yeah.
It does help that, you know, your consciousness is more aware, but there's a science to manipulating melanin. You know what I mean? And people understand that. They're the powers that be, they understand that science. And they master it, and they study, and they watch us, and
They've been studying us since when we were the biggest experiment. I mean, this the whole thing called America was an experiment. Let's bring these, you know, although we were here already thousands of years before, hundreds of thousands of years, probably millions of years. But when they colonized and just ripped everything apart, and you know, at one time there was 50 million Indians. There's none, basically, you know, comparison, less than 1 million today. It's like, let me just do this, and let's bring the experiment to play.
Yeah.
We were their experiment when because what they did is they said that black man and that black woman have a dominant gene, a X and Y gene that can wipe us out off the planet. We have to study them more closely and keep them and their energy and their spirit close to us, because that's how we're going to survive. And yes, I said it.
That's right. And I'm glad you said it before me.
There it is.
Because I was going to say it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The thing about this situation too with them is that they've done this colonization all over the planet. Every place that there is an ethnic group of people that are strong in surviving, where we have been and our seed has been planted, they've gone and they've caused a colonization or they've destroyed it. You know what I mean? They bring in, like what they do with the controlling the weather, with the tsunamis.
The harp.
And
Man, yeah, we're so in sync. I'm thinking things that he just saying,
you know what I
the
mean?
way it needs to be said.
With the
harp, the GMOs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All the food that they're
tainting of the water.
Yeah, and
you
the
know?
food. And look, you know, the kids, I tell my sons all the time, stop eating that nasty cereal. You know, stop drinking milk. I don't drink milk unless it's almond milk. You know, you're drinking filth. You know what I mean? The cows are contaminated. The meat is contaminated. You know what I mean? You got to go back to the basics. You know, basics is vegetation. You know, and we're not carnivorous animals. We don't have fangs that we need to chew meat with. That wasn't portioned for our body. You know, our body was meant to. What is the strongest and the biggest animals in the jungle?
The elephant.
The gorilla.
The elephants, gorillas, and
lions.
No.
Tigers.
No. Elephants, gorillas.
Jerry Bell?
Elephants, gorillas.
He will consider being that.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
Right.
Grandmaster was the baddest animal as far as I know.
Elephants, gorillas, and you have rhinoceros.
Yeah.
They eat vegetation.
No meat.
No, they do not consume any meat at all. You know what I mean? But the ones and they live the longest. The ones that do consume meat die early.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? So and they can't move as quickly as other animals that only consume the vegetation. You know what I mean? They have a certain limitation to their speed. You know, so all these things that we have to take into mind. You know what I mean? We're going to take a pause for the calls here, right, Mr. Rich?
In the background,
we getting deep up in here.
that I think encompasses the mood and conversation. This is Syl Johnson. An all-time classic, Is It Because I'm Black? We'll be right back with more of Jerry Bell's Soul R&B Classic with Tosh Alsett, Mike McGrew, Shakim Williams, the Grandmaster, and yours truly, the Grasshopper. Don't go
Here
away.
you will get educated for sure.
Yes.
Like a child stealing his first piece of candy and got caught. Peeping around life's corner somewhere, I got lost. Oh, something is holding me back. I wonder, is it because I'm black? Oh, somebody tell me, what can I do? Will I survive or will I die? Oh, you keep on holding me back. Keep on holding on. Keep on picking on me. Oh, keep on holding me back. Keep on holding.
Thank you for
tuning into LA Talk Live, reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello world, how you living? This is D Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com. Or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the Rap Project, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D-Brax, the rap connoisseur, on the Rap Project every Wednesday at 7, right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dawn Christie inviting you to join me every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for my all-new show, The Dawn Christie Show. Join me as I discuss love, spiritual readings, your purpose, why am I born, what am I here to do. So don't forget to tune in The Dawn Christie Show at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
What's up, world? This is Nicolas Cage, inviting you to join us every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific time for New Rules Radio. Join us as we lend our social satire to the week's leading topics, include music, fashion, and politics. So don't forget to tune in to New Rules Radio, 7 p.m. Pacific time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Yeah, yo, we black and we proud, for sure.
Yeah, let me get that.
That's the only thing that matched.
I think got a hernia from that, didn't it? Stomach hurt on that one.
Hey. That is the soulful sounds of the Godfather of soul. No one can replace him, Mr. James Brown, y'all.
The music was so conscious. The song we played before the break, Syl Johnson, Is It Because I'm Black, all came out around this era, late 60s, 69, 71, Syl Johnson, that song, some other music that he made. We were just so much more conscious. And the music meant so much more. When you compare it to what we're listening to today in the way of music, it is pretty tragic. But I always ask the question, well, where's the music headed? We won't debate that topic today.
Right.
I think we're bringing it back at shows like this.
Right.
Grandmaster Jerry Bell, thanks to you for bringing this music back. It's coming back.
Yes, indeed.
Let me just
long
say
and
this
strong.
before we lose this conversation. I don't meet that many conscious Africans from Africa. Like when I like to, talk to a lot of people and just, have a lot of conversation. And when we talk about things, African Americans going back to Africa, or the lifestyle now, what are they trying to obtain? They're more like, hey, I want to get over to America. I want to make some money. I want to send it back home to take care of my family. I don't want to talk about that stuff. You guys over here tripping and fighting over that, nothing, hollering at black. I mean, I get that all the time. I have not yet came across a conscious African.
Because they live in their consciousness.
Yeah.
There's no question about their ethnicity, their race, their nationality.
Right.
They are Africans.
So
They don't.
We're just American.
Yeah.
Africans.
We've been Americanized,
diluted, polluted.
You know what I mean? And you're right, and polluted with the foolishness and this bullshit. Where there you can't take you. No matter how much the white man go over there or any other man, you cannot pollute who they are. They got to look at themselves every day. Like Richard Pryor said, he said, look, man, the first time in my life that I went to a country and the white man stood out.
For the first time in his life, he saw a white man and he looked out of place.
Right.
And he must have felt out of place.
Right.
Like we feel here in America. That's a problem for us. As I was walking to do an errand today, leaving the office, just out of nowhere, I felt this sense of psychic trauma that hit me, like a lightning bolt, like when I just thought about slavery.
Oh yeah.
Like, whoa, when you think about what really happened during slavery and the psychic trauma we have carried with us from those times, passed on virtually in our bloodlines from our great ancestors who suffered slavery, and then now the dilution of our complexion alone, where we've become split on dark skin and light skin, and if even as recent as 2009, where the black community was asking whether Barack Obama was black enough. One of the things that occurred to me is like, you can't get no more original than Barack Obama in terms of his genealogy, because the reason that I am here, he's here, you're here, all of us, different complexions, is because of a white person and a black person mingling. You can't get more original than a white woman and an African man in terms of what happened to us. You feel me? Yeah. So at his very roots, you talking about being black, when it comes to being a black American or an African American or an American African, as I like to say, that's how we all got started as we live and exist today. White people and black people making babies. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not endorsing that and saying that was cool, because we all know it was rape.
Rape.
No guesswork.
Yes.
But this, we're so hung up and split up and just torn apart in our sense of consciousness. Africans don't have, as Grandmaster says, don't have to worry about that. They know their race, they know their ethnicity, they know their background. The psychic trauma that we suffer and still carry with us deep down inside. I just thought about the psychological impact of that, the PTSD of it all.
And nobody,
will we ever shake it?
And nobody, just like any psychologist today, if you beat your children just for 5 or 10 years, they're going to have some kind of scarring. You know what I'm saying? And let alone, we're talking about over 20 generations being passed on. And the mother.
But look.
And that woman experiencing in her womb.
Let me take you deeper than that. When they brought us our people into this country. I'm going to show you why there's anguish and hate between us a lot too. When they brought us here as slaves, and we were on a plantation, you my sister, you two my brothers. If I showed you too much love, tomorrow morning when I woke up, you'd
Take
be
me
sold
away. Yep.
to another plantation.
Exactly.
They would sell you to another plantation. They would sell you to Chicken George plantation up the road. You know what I mean? And I would never get to see you again. So now here our families are so divided and broken up that we don't even know we may be kin anyway, and we don't even know it. You know what I mean?
Well, I always say if we're not kin, at least the same plantation, and we have
Right.
the same last name.
You know what I'm saying?
That goes without saying.
And let's even talk about buck breaking.
Yeah.
You know, they literally took the strongest, blackest male, you know, on the plantation and literally stripped him butt naked, cut a tree, bent him over, and anally raped him in front of
everybody.
Most importantly, his son.
And another thing, when they stripped him naked, those that they wanted to kill, what they ended up doing was tying him down, tying his hands to, you know, both his hands stretched out to a horse.
And
They
split
would-
him in half.
And split, and then they would let the mother and the children, after they would burn him, tar and feather him, burn him, he's screaming. The woman is watching that. What do you think that planted in her mind?
Yeah.
Well, you know, look, when I was 12 years old, I saw the first lynching of my life.
You
when I was
gotta be
12.
kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I was 12. I'm 64 in June next month. I saw the first lynching when I was growing up in Florida. I'm hiding in the bushes. They took this young brother.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. The KKK, and they strung him up.
Brother, the last lynching took place in this country in like 70s.
Yeah.
Right? Early 70s.
Yeah.
Are we not aware of that?
Yeah, man. Look, they
I
strung.
think they
People aren't
still
aware of
lynch him
that.
all
It's
the time.
okay.
They strung this brother up and stripped him. He was butt naked. The only thing he had on was his shoes that he had on. And they castrated him and let him bleed out into his shoes. And then they set him on fire. This is the kind of stuff that they were doing. In Florida right now, Florida is worse than Mississippi and Alabama.
Yeah, it is true. 'Cause
They so racist. My mother died in fear of the white man. She was afraid. Now my father was a little different.
Of the white man.
My father was different. My father was one of them, I will kill you. My grandfather was different too, because he had carried a shotgun all the time. He said, I'll put these buckshots in you. You know, I don't give a damn about a cracker. That's how he talked.
I never met anyone
prepared to die,
that knew and witnessed that.
Oh,
before.
yeah, man.
That
Yeah, I mean, you know, I carry this with me all my life. And racial profiling is still alive and heavy. I just went through that a week ago in the Valley. Driving down the street at night in Studio City, cop pulled right behind me. Whoop, whoop. Stop me. I'm telling you, it's still alive. Hard, heavy alive. They don't give a damn, man. They don't care about law. They don't about what any other law is. They even break their own law that they make. You know what I'm saying? That this country has always been like that. And until the ones of us who have supposedly excelled financially into whatever realms they're in, they don't experience this kind of stuff because they feel as though they're obsolete of this until it hits home.
they're still in the same boat, just in a different compartment.
Of course. You know what I mean? And so until we come together and come out this fear thing, it ain't gonna never.
What do you think is gonna help us? Because obviously the old people feel the way they feel. What do you think? You know, like you said, he wanted to read something out of his book, but
what's gonna take place?
And I think changing
the revolution will not be televised.
And we have to change these young adults.
Bottom line.
We have to change the thinking
bottom line.
pattern of these. We got to get our children, because they're the ones who's going to change it.
Yeah.
But it's going to take. I'm telling you.
And Jerry Bell, he's
the country is going to experience a revolution.
Yeah.
It really is, because you cannot continue to go on with this tyranny and what they're doing to people. It's not going to hold up.
Yeah.
And most of the powers that be that throw this control don't even live in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's other foreign investors, money, the money makers that's outside of this country that's actually
and they use
controlling.
their policing organizations to police the people here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to come to a point like it is right now with Russia and the Ukraine. It's going to get like that here before it gets better. It's going to get like that. And the minute that they shut this, that's why they're building all these FEMA facilities, these FEMA holding camps.
Drones and all
Over 800 of them already in the country.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They already know.
800?
Yeah, they know, and they know their plan.
Concentration camp.
Yeah.
And just like Cliven Bundy, the guy who came out with the rancher in Nevada, who got, he was going through a situation with the government because he was grazing his cattle on government property but wasn't paying. And so what ended up happening was the government came in, and then he had all of these people from so-called militia come down there until he came out, Cliven Bundy said, well, let me tell you a couple of things about the nigger. Right, I know about the nigger. And he had everybody, all the Republicans with them, the game they played in Congress, but the Republicans was with them. There are people, there are Caucasian people in this country that has a militia that's so serious right now. And I'm gonna say, if anybody's out there listening, which we know, we have to give the message that while they saying whatever, we have to arm. Black people need to arm themselves.
That's right, and not turn your guns in.
All right, now I want to take a moment out. Let me give you a little intro music. I thought this would be the closest I can get to it. It's that time of the show, the second hour. A little music by the 24th letter of the X-Man in the background, a little something called Kung Fu. So this is going to be a theme song for this particular segment of the show called Stump the Grandmaster. All right, now, so here we go. And I thought maybe to not do this week, but I found something that I thought we might all enjoy. And once again, Tosh, I know how you love lyricism, poetry, and spoken word. And this is from some originators. I want y'all to check this out.
Okay.
Let's give that a second to cue up.
Uptown, on the corner, uptown. I turned around and hear the sound of voices talking about who's gonna die next. Cause the white man's got a God complex. Silent niggas scream for help. Hey, help me, help me. Nigga, make your own help. Shit, you need it. I turn around and hear the sound of jukeboxes playing in bars. Pimps parked outside in big pretty Cadillac cars. Cleaner than a broke dick dog. Sitting in a big fine hog. Dressed very fine in a mohair silk vine. But Jim Dale died next. Cause the white man's got a God complex. Hey, brother, what's your sport, my man? I got just the thing for you. Only cost 10 and 2. What you gonna do, baby? I got black ones, brown ones, red ones, yellow ones. I even got a white one if you wanna buy some. Yeah, that's right. 258. Play it straight. I got it all worked out. Know what I'm talking about. Been reading my dream book. Ain't no way in the world the kid gonna get took. Nigga, what you mean I didn't hit? Nigga, you full of shit. Licked eyes. Now 7. Come on, be nice and hit 11. Well, what do you know? It's Little Joe. Hey, my man got $20. Say, Little Joe don't blow. Ha, baby needs a pair of shoes. Ha, Papa's got the funky blues. Ha, Mama plays the crossword in the news. Snake eyes. Sorry, nigga, you lose. The line forms to the real lady. And I don't care if you never cash your welfare checks. Cause the white man's got a God complex. But I got 10 babies.
I took it easy on the Grandmaster this week because I know he knows who that is.
That's the Last Poets, brother.
Yes, indeed. The great, mighty, the original rappers, the Last Poets, a little something called the White Man's
Got a God
complex from the This Is Madness LP. And that was our segment today. Hold on, let me get my theme song.
I just don't see why we're still, this is killing me.
Anyway, that's our theme song. And that's been Stump the Grandmaster for this week. And I failed, so try again next time. Okay, there we go. All right, so back to the conversation. I thought that was very apropos, man, because This is something we've seen in our society for a lot of years.
Yeah,
you
right.
talk about this guy Clive, whatever is Clive Bumblefuck, let's call
Clive
it,
and
because
Bundy.
anybody who really looks at life and America as much as we're changing and evolving or whatever's going on, and still has those antiquated ideas, it's just insane to me, you know. So that's that God complex, and
the
we need
main
to stop hanging white Jesuses on crosses.
Oh
to
man,
fix
the
their
main
minds.
theme was destroy the male, the man in the male. You know, destroy the man in that human body. Take away the man and make him a boy, because that's like, you know, back in the day, used to call you the white man used to call you boy. Hey boy, and then I remember seeing a white man say that to my father once, and my father said, "What'd you say to me?" He said, "You heard me, boy," and that was the last thing that he said. He was out cold. Because back then we didn't play that kind of stuff. You don't call me boy, you don't call me nigga.
That's the worst thing you could call somebody back in
Right.
the day. It's worse than nigga.
Yeah.
You know, we've always used the word nigga amongst our own community as
But
a term
not
of
boy,
endearment.
right.
But
That-
boy, oh man.
Yeah,
You
that-
said it
that's
to them old brothers from the South.
Yeah, you get cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, listen, guys, we've only got 8 more minutes left of the show. I wanted to swing the mic. I see he's yawning. He's getting a little tired. He must have been on the road a
I'm
lot.
sorry, brother. Come on with it, brother.
So, Mike, let's get back up to speed with what you got going on, the new book, The Whole Nine. Tell us what you got.
Well, no, the release for Designer Relationships is on actually my birthday, May 29th.
Whoa.
But for my organization, we do have a phenomenal fundraiser at the GS Restaurant and Lounge. That's
Very nice place.
5630 West Manchester Avenue from 6 to 9 p.m. So if any listeners out in the Los Angeles area would definitely like for them to stop by from 6 to 9 p.m. at the GS Restaurant or Sports Bar in Lounge. You know, just to support literacy. Got a lot of colleagues and other organizations stopping by, so we'd definitely like to, you know, support, come out, get something to drink, get something to eat, and, you know, support the cause.
Give us some contact deets on you and the event.
Contact.
Deets, as in details.
Oh,
That's
oh,
what the
oh.
young people say, Mike. You don't
Oh,
know
well,
about that.
damn.
LOL.
I never thought I was getting old. But,
WTF.
Well, no, it's just you can follow me on Facebook, and we have the event details and everything like that. You can just look up I Am Project Literacy Mixer. But the address is 5630. You know, at the GS. That's
G Spot, no doubt, GS, whatever they call it right over there on Manchester.
Yeah.
And how about some information on how folks can avail themselves of your great publications?
Well, yeah. Actually, I just downloaded or uploaded the book exclusively on ebook. So you can purchase it for $3.99 on ebook. The paperback will be released on the 29th. Designer Relationships, Get Out of Your Problems and Into Your Purpose. In fact, I mean, I could read a little bit, but I don't think we have.
Give me a little something,
Yeah.
real quick.
Okay.
You're our guest today. We definitely want to get a little something.
All right. Cool. Well, this is one chapter called "Keep Dirty Dishes Out of the Sink." Nobody is born any less special than another, as our experience is measured by the success we endure, as well as our faith, modesty, and humility. Life is an adventure. It's about outliving your fears. You're only as good as your last victory, and life can only be lived through peak performance, attitude, overcoming adversity, and selfless acts of righteous behavior. Without guidance, knowledge of self, life can seem unfair to a lost soul from the impression that has manifested from their personal views and encounters. Your image of the world is a reflection of your inner thoughts and outside influences. Holding dominion over useless concepts is identical to keeping dirty dishes in the sink. They pile high and attract unnecessary attention to those who share the same space. These dishes or thoughts can stain one's personality, which influences one's character to adapt to an appearance recognized by outsiders. As mentioned earlier, success is the comfort of identifying with what you bring to the table. Success is not living up to a custom that never existed.
Yes,
Love
indeed.
that, brother. Love that. Round of
Wow.
applause for that.
Yeah,
No
brother.
doubt. No doubt.
That's right.
That's going to be a bestseller.
And it's right here on Jerry Bell's R&B Soul
What I'm
Classics,
talking
y'all.
about.
The one and only.
So, you know, and for our listeners, they can actually replay this over and over and over and over until it's embedded into your head, what we've been talking about.
I'm going to leave him with a little something, Grandmaster. And as we wind up the show today, I hope you enjoyed today's discourse. My final words is, here's a little something for you if you couldn't. Grandmaster, give them some final words before you go.
My final words is that we definitely need to come together as a united people, y'all, because that's the survival in this country. That's the survival. And learn other people's culture, learn how to speak languages, learn other people's cultures so that you can communicate and know exactly what they're saying about you. Get it down, get the game down. You know what I mean? That's the name of the game. You know, that's what I could put to you. You know, I mean, get your focus and your concentration straight. Tosh,
Well, I couldn't get that track straight, so I'm going to ask you to cue one for us to go out
I got
with.
you.
Go right ahead.
That was Larry Graham.
Speak drum. Tell the real story.
Know thyself. You can't know where you're going until you know where you've been. So that is what lies with me. Also, I'll be in a play. I'll be opening up for There I Said It, featuring Chocolate Storm and directed by Karen White. I'll be the opening spoken word poet, and that starts tomorrow, May 16th through the 19th. It's a 3-day weekend event, and it starts at 8 p.m. Come on out, have a good time. The event is only $20. Come out, hang with us, and
Give them
enjoy.
the location one more time.
The location is at Stage 52 in Culver City, and it's going to be a 3-weekend event. And it's tomorrow is at 7 o'clock. I'll be walking red carpet, hanging with the homegirls, and enjoying the show. So come on out and see me. I'm Tasha Offset. Look me up on Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter. Thank you.
Shock Factor, every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, exclusively here on the World Leader in Internet Broadcast.
There
LA
it
Talk
is.
Live. Give them something.
Hey man, we're going to be having a great time tomorrow. I want to thank the panel for such a intelligent conversation. I think we need to have more of these conversations. We every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on the Shock Factor. We're working to get into it a little bit more. We used to start off like this, but R&B was the voice behind everything that we were feeling as a people, and we got to get and grab our voice back.
Yeah.
We can't allow anybody to tell us because of money to change our voice or change our perspective or our paradigm. We have to grab R&B back and let that, whatever music, some people say hip hop, but R&B was first. So let's grab that R&B and let that be the voice of our people. Let's stand up for something. Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you, Richie. Thank
My
you,
brother.
Tosh. Thank you, my brother.
Mike McGrew.
Yes. Mike.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks. Appreciate y'all.
That's our show for this week. Take us out, Grandmaster.
You are listening to the sounds of the main ingredient, y'all. The voice of Cuba Gooding Sr., which is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s father, and Omar Gooding's daddy.
Shame you have to point that out because Cuba Gooding Sr. was the original, but it's a good point that you brought that out.
No, but I like to do that anyway.
No doubt.
I like to relate, and give them that credit. You know what I mean? What credit is due. Next week we'll be here, same time, same bat channel. Every Thursday, y'all. You can tune in at 2 o'clock to Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics, y'all. Right here on LA Talk Live, and please feel free to call in. Send in suggestions, whatever you may have that you want to talk about, do about, as long as it's respectful, we cool. If not, I'm coming looking for you.
That's right.
We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Choices in Internet Radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the Internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.